Hello and welcome everyone. This is Mercian Short episode 3, which is the Middle-earth in Mercia podcast video-based series where we talk about specific topics to do with Games Workshop's Middle-earth strategy battle game. And if you've been following along and watched the last 2 episodes, we have been following the enthralling story of rumours and model announcements that have been coming in the build-up to our expectation of there being a new supplement hitting towards the back end of 2024. And moving on to the rumor image that we've been sitting with for about 4 weeks now, and like I say, if you watched episode 2, you will be very familiar with this. We had a bit of speculation about as to what this may be, and if I'm gonna take a little bit of credit here, I did say that I thought this was likely a good hero. I said I thought they were likely mounted, and for once I've been proven 100% right. So yeah, this was the rumor image that we'd been left with, and without further ado, because you've probably seen it on the thumbnail anyway, here is the brand new model, and it's Earnur, who is the Last King of Gondor. And I do have to give it a shout out. I'm sorry I've forgotten your name, but there was somebody some time ago that said, could this theme and Earnur, could this be a future model? And you've got it 100% right. I hadn't heard a rumor about this from anybody other than yourself. So well done to that listener for getting that right. But yeah, let's just take a moment, look at the model purely by itself. Games Workshop have given us actually quite a bit of information about what this model is going to entail in terms of rules, and we can have a bit of speculation about price and points and so on. But let's take a moment to just appreciate what they've given us here. And for me, looking at the model on the right, yes, I like this. I like this a lot. Where it's a High King of Gondor in all his glory, fully kitted out as he should be on an armoured horse. There's a lot of decoration on this model. I'm particularly enjoying the helmet. Love the helmet. Very reminiscent of Aragorn's crown at the end of Lord of the Rings. Very reminiscent of Elendil's helmet in the battle against Sauron. And we can sort of look, if we move to the left and look at the dismounted model as well, we see a lot of replication of sort of, I guess, that part of the helmet is very much meant to represent the crown of Gondor, like sort of almost a mountainous rise, and that's replicated on the breastplate. On the dismounted model, it's replicated on the shield and the helmet. And yeah, I'm not a massive fan of the shield, but it certainly doesn't ruin the model for me. I do get it. Like, this is a time when like Gondor is still High Gondor. They haven't lost their continuity. This is possibly I'm sorry, I'm not that great at this era of Lord of the Rings history. Let me know in the comments if you are able to give me the details, but I'm guessing this is a long time before Lord of the Rings. There hasn't been a decline. The race of Numenor amongst the nobility is still strong, so having that crowned white tree in terms of iconography, I do think is very apt, but the design just doesn't quite work for me. But by no means spoils the model. I do have to say, I hope there is some sort of modular option for the head. I absolutely love the helmeted version. I like that I'm not a big fan of this goatee he's got going on, to be honest. I think imagining him with a full beard, sort of more in line with how we've seen the other Numenorians. And Aragorn himself, I think that's better. I think the sculpt overall is lovely. This will be great to see in person. But I think once again, the design department is falling a bit flat when it comes to the faces for me. It's just not up to the same quality as the rest of the model. It's not up to the same quality that we see for Warhammer Fantasy Battle and Age of Sigmar. And I know we're really getting into designs that are very far out there, but Warhammer 40k, I just don't think it's at the same level. But yeah, let us know what you think of this model. Do you agree with those slightly negative comments? I will say, if he is able to have the helmet on both versions, then this is, like, I can place what I think about the shield to one side. This is sort of an 8.5 out of 10 for me, if I can have helmeted for both. And I think the thing, and I said this on the Facebook post when I initially saw this, I think the thing for me about this model that has actually got me excited and genuinely excited about this release is this is a Gondor model. This isn't going to be like with Earnur, where it's like, okay, if you want to get involved on the party train on this, you're going to have to buy 110 quid's worth of metal models. We all have tons of plastic Warriors of Minas Tirith, and it's a really well supported line, Gondor, in terms of plastic models. If they brought this guy out, if they've maybe brought some bodyguards out, something for a bit of feel of that era, and maybe a couple of other named heroes, this could be a very different way of playing Gondor, and I for one am here for it. I've heard that this could potentially be combined into an Elven Legion. I'm not going to say the name of the battle because it's escaped my mind, but the Elves and Gondor, and maybe Earnur as well, did form a combined force and assault Angmar. So perhaps it'd be tied in with that. But I think it would be cool to see a way to run this army separately as a separate era. Don't just give us a Helm's Guard and just say, here you go, it's a Legendary Legion. It's the only real way you can play it. I want to see, it really wouldn't take a lot. Like, give us 5 more models. 3 of them are heroes, 2 of them are something else, and it would be a completely different way to play Gondor if they did different rules. So that's why I'm excited, because often with these releases, you see them come out, and it's like, okay, to play the really cool stuff like bears or whatever, I need to make a massive investment. This could potentially be a great release for the fans, in my opinion. The people that aren't playing at the top tables, aren't budgeting to buy 3 or 4 armies new every year. Give us something that people can buy. Yeah, it is going to be an investment cost, but 80 to 100, and then they can combine it with their existing collection for a completely new way to play that army. I'd love to see that. But yeah, spoken about that enough. Let's move on, because as I say, they have given us a lot of information about the rules for this model. So they have announced 2 special rules for him. The first one is a Fool's Challenge. Earnur's pride bordering on arrogance means he will never refuse a challenge that is put to him, nor will he turn away from a fight. If Earnur is ever the target of a heroic challenge, he may never choose to decline under any circumstances. Additionally, Earnur must always charge an enemy hero model if he is able to do so. So it's sort of, Theodred Light, in that it's only heroes, not just normal models. I think the heroic challenge thing is a bit superfluous, particularly because other creators who have got to this first have rightly pointed out this is an active special rule, so you're not going to see the Witch King transfixing him, immobilizing him, whatever you want to call it, and then issuing a challenge, because it's active, so it's off. And then you're straight back to the same old situation with heroic challenge, where it's, okay, mate, you've spent a point of might. I don't fancy it this turn, so I'm not doing it. Yeah, there are some downsides, but it's a lot less than losing my hero, and I'll get you next time. So yeah, I do think it's a bit pointless. The must always charge an enemy hero, that certainly changes the way he operates. If this is rich in the lore, that he was a bit of a hothead, I'm definitely not against that, because it makes you, yeah, he is a tank, but you're going to have to be aware of the fact, like, if I have to do particularly heroic move with him, that may be sending me in the complete opposite direction, particularly if he's on a horse. You could wind up moving 6-7 inches in the wrong direction towards a hero model that someone has rather smartly left exposed to stop you doing that. So yeah, I think that's quite good. Obviously, if you just want him to be a machine, It's not the greatest thing, but I like a bit of fluff. There's a bit of thinking that needs to go into that model. Not as much as Theodred. Like I guess if you're playing him a lot, like it becomes second nature, shielding him off. But no, that's good. And this is technically a negative special rule, isn't it? So you would think there's a slight points reduction there for people who are interested in getting this model. So then moving on to Master Duelist, another active special rule. So yeah, in cases where active is turned off, you'd have to be aware it doesn't apply. A Master Swordsman and an exceptional duelist. There are none within Gondor that can match Earnur's skill with a blade. At the start of a fight involving Earnur, after resolving any special rules that affect an enemy model's fight value, but before any heroic strikes are resolved, Earnur may increase his fight value to match that of a single non-monster model he is engaged with. Now, we're just going to focus on the fact this allows you to up your fight skill, because I've seen a lot of people sort of debating how this works, and apparently Jay Clare has liked, who if you're not aware is the lead rules writer at the moment, has liked a couple of posts and things to do with bat swarms and the One Ring, and the writing in this contradicts it contradicts like the order of some things. I think it's particularly on heroic strikes when that is resolved, because it suggests that heroic strikes are resolved last here, but in other places it's suggested that heroic strikes go first and then other multipliers apply. So we're going to leave that to one side. It sounds like that needs an instant FAQ to really tidy that up, and we're just going to focus on the fact that he can elevate his fight skill to a non-monster model. And yeah, I just think this is a bit of a limited use case, really, which is a little bit of a shame, mainly because any models that he's going to really do this to, if you think about them, they've either got elven blades, so they've shifted things 66 to 33% in their favour if there is a roll-off, so it's not massively helping you there. It's better than nothing, but it's not massively helping you. And other models like Azog, for instance, they hit like a freight train, and they're almost certainly going to have a better chance of wounding you than you are them. So you're not necessarily looking to go into them in a fair fight anyway. So you're probably looking for an advantageous situation, and that's probably going to be more important than this. And I would almost guarantee this model is going to have strike. For me, I do like this rule. I like where it's coming from, but I think they should have omitted the part about it being a non-monster. Let it be monsters. I get what they're saying. He crosses swords with people and stuff. But this man has been waging war with Angmar for some time. The place is full of monsters. Being a duelist doesn't need to be this real limited definition. I get they're not using blades, they're using a different sort of skill. They're using extreme strength, extreme speed, or whatever. But might not make him a master of it all, a master of bladecraft against all of these models. And then this would be a much, much more effective rule. Something that you would be using as much as you're not using in a tournament, rather than what it is at the moment, which is just going to be very specific use case. I would hope, being as the one on the left and is intended as a negative special rule and the one on the right is intended as a positive special rule, that maybe points wise these cancel each other out, because the one on the left isn't the end of the world and the one on the right isn't the be all and end all. You're going to be relying on your heroic strike more often than not. But let's watch that space in terms of clarification as to what comes out in terms of the One Ring and bat swarms and stuff like that. That would make it more useful, because it stops people just robbing you of your fight skill, and people use those tools quite a lot. They're quite common. It's still not as much as if we just got rid of the non-monster, but there you go. Okay, so that's the Earnur special rules. Now, moving on, what I have done is I have drawn up a potential profile for Earnur. Now, all of the things you see in black are 100% confirmed by Games Workshop, or a given. So we know that man models have movement 6. They have stated that he has fight skill 6. They haven't stated that he's strength 4, but I think we can probably guess he is. D8 I've put in yellow. These all mean I'm sort of having what I feel is a bit of an educated guess. The reason I've put D8 there is because if we follow the way that defense values are done for those of Elendil's line, then with heavy armor and shield, which we can see in the war gear there, that's all confirmed. That's in black. All of these things are available to him. If we follow Isildur and Elendil's line, both of those models, and then Aragon, if they have heavy armor, they are D7. And if they have a shield, that would mean they're D8. So that could potentially be quite big. If he's D7, then it's following how it is for normal men, human characters, which I think would be a bit out of step. But I think that could potentially be big, having D8 on this model. Then 3 attacks confirmed by Games Workshop. 3 wounds confirmed by Games Workshop. Not confirmed is courage, but again, if it follows the trend for Elendil's line, Aragon, Isildur, Elendil, all courage 6. He's a hothead as well, so maybe he is bordering on arrogant, but those people don't tend to be cowardly, do they? Their problem is that they're too far the other way. So I think courage 6 would be appropriate. And then 3 might, we've had that confirmed. I think that's a given. He's a High King of Gondor. Why is he not going to have 3 might? And then I've gone for 3 will and 1 fate. 1 fate because in the lore we're aware this is a deceased character. So that seems appropriate. That's the trend they normally go for. Although I think Isildur had 2, so not out of the question, but it's in yellow, that's why it's in question. And then I've gone for 3 will. This is a character that's intended to fight Angmar, unless he has a special rule in whatever legendary legion he is, or in whatever army he is, to give him magic protection. I just think if they're playtesting these against each other, they're going to have gone, he needs 3 will to give him some level of protection from the Angmar models. But maybe he have a supplementary rule like the Numenorians to give him additional protection. We'll have to see. Could be 2, and then they do it that way. But yeah, obviously we've got a bit of swing on here. I mean, you can go all the way down to Human King, and they've only got courage 3, which I was really surprised about. And then we could have a reduction in defense and stuff. But either way, I think this is, I think it's highly unlikely they're going to give him courage 3. But whatever way, I think this is looking like a really strong profile. But with a really strong profile, I mean, especially with this war gear, heavy armor, shield, sword, lance, armored horse, there is going to become a price tag. So I don't think fully kitted out, it would be unreasonable to see this model being around 140 points. Which, yeah, it's not like some of the wizards and stuff fully kitted out being 200 points, and it's a major impedance to your army. But unless you're running very high points, this probably is going to be the biggest hitter in your army. And you'll be looking to pick up, if you can, some low-cost 3 might heroes, so that you're not overwhelmed on that front. But yeah, an interesting profile. I'm quite excited for how this could run. Obviously, we've still got all the information about how it's going to operate in its army list, how it's going to operate within a legendary legion. We'll have to see. So moving on. That's all they've given us in terms of new models, but we have had a new rumour image. And yeah, straight away, just because of the way it tends to be, good models are tidy and neat, and bad models are perhaps more dirty and evil looking. There is a very clear good evil divide in Lord of the Rings, isn't there? I'm going, this is an evil model. It looks like it's a helmet and it's got some bones attached to it. For me personally, as to what this is, really have no idea. I think it's probably Angmar, because that's the only confirmed evil faction we've seen. However, some of you out there have had much better ideas than me, so that's what we're going straight to. And yeah, this is a man of Khan Dum, and I believe this, somebody on the GBHL Facebook posted this, and then people have sort of ran with the idea. And this was artwork, I believe, from the second Battle for Middle Earth game. They were at least name checked in the War of the Ring game, so it has had a presence within Middle Earth strategy battle game. And these guys apparently are basically evil men that live within Angmar. And yeah, I mean, the similarities are quite striking, aren't they? If we just take that helmet and apply there, I'm sold. I think that's what it is. Really, really good spot. Be interesting to see where this fits in, because I've seen lots of people saying, please don't give them D6, because then Angmar pretty much has everything. I mean, this guy's got 2 swords if they go with that. Typically, models that have 2 swords, they're 2 attacks. So maybe we could be looking at a man in armor, D4, 2 attacks, that sort of option for Angmar. Maybe fitting into a legendary legion. You know, maybe they've got equipment options. It'd be interesting to see. I think it would be good if they had some sort of twist on them, rather than just giving another option, which if they did what I've said there, that's basically Morgul Stalkers, isn't it? But without the Stalk Unseen rule, so they would be about 10 points. That's not, you'd see a few of them like Morgul Stalkers, but it's not going to spice things up dramatically. But yeah, let's see what they come out with the rules. I'm intrigued. This could be a really cool design. I forgot to mention earlier, but the Earnur model, that has been confirmed by, I saw on Warhammer's Facebook, that is Forge World resin. I think all of these have been confirmed to be Forge World resin. Is coming from that part of the company, so we could expect the same here. So if this is a warrior model for Angmar, these are probably coming in packs of 3. If they become like baseline infantry for a specific legendary legion, we're not going to see many of these just because of the cost. But we have to hold our opinions really on this. It could go any way, couldn't it? Because we haven't even seen the design. But I'm intrigued, and I hope it is these men of Khan Dum. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that and driving you Tolkien purists mad. But yeah, interesting. So on to that. If you've just come here for the rumours and what's coming up next, then I don't blame you if you want to check out now. But if you are a fan of the channel, if you are a GBHL player, and if you are attending tournaments in the UK that are GBHL events, then I have a message for you. The GBHL League has opened up their transfer window for GBHL teams. And we were rather disorganised at the back end of last year, because I think both me and Ash had taken a little break, and we were also trying to schedule when our latest tournaments were. So we missed the opportunity to register a Middle-earth in Mercia team. Now, we've put out an ad on the Facebook and had some responses to that. And we are going to put out an ad in the next full podcast episode. Because we've got about a month from when this video goes out to register the team. So this is our call to arms. If you are intending, it would be great if you're intending to or have attended at least 4 GBHL events across the calendar year of 2024. We're not looking to be super competitive. We're looking to get you, our community, our listeners involved in the team, basically. For those of you who both subscribe to the podcast and subscribe to the idea of playing your best at a tournament, doing your best, but not compromising your sportsmanship, playing hard but clean. That's what we're all about here at Middle-earth in Mercia, and we would love you to be a part of the team. Me and Ash are obviously already on it, so we've got space for 7 members. It would be great if you are Midlands based. so that the opportunity to meet up is increased. But if you're not, depending on, I think we probably would give priority for people that are nearby, but I'm sure there will be at least a couple of spaces left for those who are further afield, and you can be representatives for us in your area. And we can get a Facebook chat thing going. We can talk about each other's lists and just give, we're not going to be talking every day, but we can give a bit of advice here and there. It would be great to hear how you're getting on with your tournaments, and just building a bit of a sense of community around the podcast, because I know there's many loyal listeners out there, and we really do appreciate your support, and it would be great to get involved in this with you, and maybe it encourages you to go to more tournaments than maybe you would. And if you are the only Mercian in your area, maybe force you to go out there, try and make a friend, so that next year when we run the team, because we will run it again, maybe we can have a B team or whatever if there's quite a few people. But yeah, I'm quite excited about it. We're not looking to win the GBHL teams thing, so don't worry if you've never podiumed or anything like that. If you listen to the podcast, if you are going to attend, the only real requirements is that obviously you need to have listened to this and that you are intending to attend tournaments, because obviously it's a bit pointless if you're not going to attend tournaments. It would be nice if your two schools can come in, whatever they are. But if you're interested, please comment on this video and give me some sort of way to contact you. Email us at middleearthinmercia@gmail.com, and you can email that address to tell us anything about what you've thought about this video. Message us on the Middle Earth in Mercia Facebook. We've got our ever-growing Instagram account. I'm not quite sure how there's so many people following that, but we appreciate it. And yeah, let us know what you thought of the episode as well. We're going to keep this series going. It's quite a nice way for us to be reactive to what is going on live, because we put a fair bit of effort into our main broadcasts, so we're able to be a bit more casual and a bit more reactive with this, is the idea. But yeah, thank you for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We're trying to grow the YouTube channel, and if you're on Spotify or any of the other podcast providers, then we don't want you to miss the next episode. Make sure you join the conversation through those methods we've mentioned, and we will speak to you soon. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Cheers, everyone. Goodbye.